Where was I? Jiao Zhou. Can't really think of anything. I think he would be a good father. He might overwork himself a little bit. But I think having a child, he would try. And it would work out for the most part. So I'm gonna bump him down by 1. Jing Yuan, I mean, he is practically a father, so there's that. But also, busy man. All in all, he would be a good father. He is a very good father figure. Might put him next to Fei Xiao because I feel like their circumstances are similar. Jing Liu, I mean, to be fair, like in this universe, she wouldn't be Mara struck, but she would definitely still be traumatized and have mental illness and maybe potential like anger issues. I would say unfit. Kafka, I think she'd do fine, mostly. Kafka, I think, would be able to teach her kid well, even if she herself doesn't have the experience to back said teachings up. You know what I mean? Like, Kafka doesn't feel fear, or she doesn't know fear. She's not, like, very in tune with her emotions or experiences certain emotions, but she still knows of them. She still knows what they do, what they're supposed to feel like, I think. And she would be able to pass on that knowledge to her child, at least. So I think that would work. Lingsha, I don't know much about Lingsha to begin with. I know she's also kind of busy. She is giving me like more big sister vibes than motherly vibes. I don't know whether her workaholism extends to like Bronya, Fu Xuan, or whether, you know, she has a better work-life balance. It feels like she would. I feel like she wouldn't want a child. But if she had one. Now, I don't know. Lingsha feels like the kind of person that would kind of cave under the stress. I feel like Lingsha would be good as like an aunt or an older sister, but as a mother, I feel like it'd be too much stress for her, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna put her in unfit. Or probably unfit. Lord Cha, traveling all over. We also don't know anything about him, so I'm gonna say unfit. Just because we don't really know much about him, or I don't know much about him, so I can't really speak on it. Actually, you know what? New tier, because I don't know you well enough for that. We haven't seen enough of you for that, so no clue! Like, these ones, I have absolutely no idea, because I don't know nearly enough about them. I barely know enough about their personalities. We've seen Lingsha in the War Dance, and that's about it. We've seen Luocha in the main story once, and that's about it. So, yeah. For whom I do, however, have a better idea is Luca. Luca, I think, would be... Father. As a big brother? Yes. As a father? I think so, actually, yeah. Maybe not perfect. I feel like Luca at first might be a similar case to Dan Heng, where he needs... Actually, no. Luca is good with kids. So, you know what? No, Luca is good with kids. It's not like he's doing anything, like, inherently... Like, he doesn't travel a lot. He isn't, like, extremely busy. He would make time for his child. So, I think he's fine. I actually think he's fine. He's fine. Lynx goes on a lot of expeditions, and I think she wouldn't be ready for a child. She's also very young, you know, like she's like I assume like Lynx is like 18 to 22, somewhere along that range, 18 to 23, like around the 20s, around the 20 threshold. That's somewhere there, which would be like college age, and I don't think she'd be ready for it. I think she would struggle a lot. March. Babysitter, yes. Sister, yes. Mother, no. I also think she'd be too overwhelmed. I feel like she's not mature enough for that. Moze, I would like to say a similar case to Blade, but I feel like Moze would have it even harder in that, like, he is even more withdrawn. He could look after a child for a little while, but as a parent, I feel like it wouldn't work. Like, emotionally, physically, he wouldn't be able to be present. He would have no idea what to do, even if he had like figures like Fei Xiao and Jiao to help him. I think there's just too much going on. So, no. Natasha, yes, she'd be busy, so that knocks her down a tiny bit. Not busy to the extent that she wouldn't make time for her kids at all, or for her kid at all. So I think I'll put her down here. Kind of similar situation to to Jiaoqiu, that she's prone to overworking herself, but not to the extent of like she would try to make time for her kid, you know. Pela, I have no idea. I have no clue. And I know Pela's character better than I do Lingsha or Luocha, but I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. She is 16, hard to judge. Liz, she is not 16. Despite the game saying that, she is not 16. That is a woman with a job who is friends with Serval, who worked under the previous Guardian. That whatever the game did there or tried to do there, she is not 16. I do not believe that for a second. I know where they say it, but it makes no sense. That is a grown woman. She is like early 20s to mid 20s at least. She would be mature enough for a kid. I just don't know how. I can't imagine how she'd do it. Yeah, Pela, like, even if I know what she's like, I just for some reason can't imagine her as a parent. I don't know why I can't, but I just can't. Chengchua, I gotta have to put you in the question mark tier. Oh, why is there an in there? Also gonna have to put you in the question mark tier because I have no clue, quite frankly. No idea. So, question mark, and we're moving on. Wrap up? Probably not. She would have to drop her Chuni persona first. It's fun if you're babysitting a kid. It's not great if you're raising one. I feel like a child would need a more grounded parent. And I know she can. But ninjas can be parents too. They can. Not in this setting though. At least not her. Yeah, I think the Chuni would get in the way too much. Robin. Celebrity. However, unlike Gunnaifen, who is an influencer, Robin would have the resources to, you know, for security and all of that. And, I mean, there's celebrities with children that, you know, that make it work, you know, and their kid lives a good life. I can't think of any right now, but they exist, surely. And hey, that kid could live, like, that kid would grow up knowing, hey, their parent is a star. But wait, that could also not be a great thing because that could attract, like, more superficial people. So maybe I'll knock her down after all. Personality-wise, she would be a great mother. Ranmei, don't. She can't even take care of pets, let alone children. Do I have to elaborate? She neglected her own creations. Why should she take care of a child? Oh god, this one is a... Some might say this is an easy no. However, I do agree that this is somewhere here, but... So here's the thing. I would trust Sampo as a babysitter. I would let Sampo babysit my kid because Sampo is good with kids. But again, circumstances. Even if I think he would be the type of guy to try and haul himself together for his kid's sake, like Boothill, similar to Boothill, but with him there's less, he has less control over the consequences. Right? For a man who's been doing a business that very much attracts bad apples and enemies for a longer time, just suddenly quitting that isn't really that easy. So I'm gonna have to put him in here. Zila, I just don't think she's emotionally mature enough. Maybe mature is not the right word. Big sister type. Big sister type, but not a parent. I think she's too rough around the edges to properly care for a child. Sampo would definitely teach the kids pickpocketing when he's babysitting. I don't think he would, no. I mean, the thing with Sampo is like he could teach them like little magic tricks, but he would not teach a child anything bad. He would not teach them anything like illegal or bad or something. He would not do that. I do not think he would do that at all. Serval, I think would be fine. Mostly. She would have to go to therapy probably. But all in all, and she's also very stubborn, so, you know, she might get into trouble with her kid, or, you know, like, there might be some disagreements that they will have to work out, but all in all, I think she's fine. She is a big sister, so in her case, that works in her favor. I volunteer as tribute to helping Serval get a kid. You mean, like, adoption, right? You'll help her, like, with the adoption papers? Right? Moving on, Silverwolf, no, not even as a babysitter. She would have no idea what to do. She could be that kid's friend, but not their parent, you know? She'd give the kid way too much leeway. And also, I feel like she's the type to just, like, try to give the kid something to, like, you know, occupy itself with, and then she'd start gaming, and then she'd forget the time, and suddenly the house is burning down. Sparkle, absolutely not. She may be able to teach a child, but she would teach a child to be a menace. She would not teach them any valuable or you know, like, altruistic or kind-hearted life lessons. She would teach them to be chaos. So, straight up, no. Sunday! He's gonna have to work on himself, but he is working on himself. So I think that he would struggle, but he would be fine. He would have some problems, but it would work out. Sunday is a hard no. He puts himself first, even over his closest family. Have you finished the Penacony story? Because, not true at all. Not true. This man is self-sacrificial to a fault. This man would sacrifice himself so often to the point that that might become selfish. Couldn't even say goodbye to his sister? I mean, here's the thing, right? Do I think they should have said goodbye face to face? Yes. Do I get why he did it? Yes. Because he didn't want her to get into trouble. And it's also like shame. Yeah. Yeah. And like, listen, like, as an older sibling, I get it. You know, you don't want to risk anything. If you fuck up, you don't want your younger sibling to get caught up in that. And with Sunday, it's like he is already growing. He definitely still has a ways to go. He has things to work out, like, you know, like his compulsive disorder, his desire, urge, I guess, for control, which he's already doing fine in that aspect. Or I guess he's doing better, you know, like he's more open to change and, you know, spontaneous changes. I just think that, like, he would need some time, but I think all in all, he would be fine. He would be fine. Sushang, I don't think she's mature enough for that. She's just not mature enough to be a parent, so I don't think so. Herta? No. No. I think she wouldn't even know how to deal with kids. Gonna be honest here. Topaz? I think as a person, yes. I think she'd be fine. Mostly. But in regards to what I've said earlier about her attitude toward the IPC and whatnot, I feel like it's like a formula for eventual conflict. Just not as strongly as in Jade's case. If she wasn't working for the IPC, and if she wasn't so strongly on the IPC's side, then I would put her higher. The Trailblazers? No. I think they could babysit a kid. Otherwise, no thank you. These two are not capable of raising a child. This one, however, most certainly is. Finally, another A+ parent. I mean, need I say more? Of course Veld would be a great father. He is a father. This man adopts, like, at least one new child every planet. Of course he'd be great. I would love to have Veld as a father. Shui Yi? Less so. Probably no. Probably even a hard no. Because Shui Yi, well, are we assuming she's a human? But I mean that still her emotional capabilities. Who do you adopt on the Xianzhou? I mean, technically he adopted Danhong from the Xianzhou. I'm counting that. To be fair, no one from Belobog. We got the Trailblazer on the space station, no one in Belobog, Danhong from the Xianzhou, Sunday on Penacony, and who knows with Amphorius. Shui Yi, like, so emotionally unavailable, even more than, like, Acheron or anyone on here, I think. If Veld was on Belobog, he'd have successfully adopted Serval and all the siblings. Honestly, probably. Bro, he would have adopted Bronya if only he had been on Belobog. Just realized he's the only Trailblazer that hasn't met Bronya. Oh my god, you're right. Our dumbass trio met Bronya. Himiko has met her. Sunday, obviously. He just recently joined. But you're right, Veld is the only one. Oh, that's mean. That's mean. We are down to our last character, Yukong. I mean, she's a mother. She just is a mother. She may be busy, but she's making time for her kids. And she is very caring towards her kids. She is very much willing to give things up for her kids. So there's that. That's an easy one. And with that, we're going to take one final look. I might have to put Firefly down here because of the terminal illness, and like, even if there is a cure for it, she doesn't know it. So it's way too risky, I think, to put a kid through that. Kafka, even though she lacks some of the like emotional intelligence that is needed, or that would be needed to raise a child properly, I think she'd make it work because she may not have personal experience, but she can still teach her child what she knows in theory. And she could still, like, you know, be understanding. Mother, father, good, just good. Mother, after some further consideration, yes, great, great, and great. So yeah, that is our tier list for today.